The shirts are off. Welcome to the podcast. So today, guys, we've got Mike and Gaz down from Redon. And there's been a little bit of butty talk going on at the Dan, to be fair.
Yeah, so when we're getting people down on the podcast, we're not just messing about with the usual, right, guys, get into the story. Yeah, we're going to start actually going into it, right, butties. Yeah, butties are a big part of my life. Always have been. They're a big part of everyone's life. So the challenge is to impress me with a butty, for one, because I'm a very critical person on butties. Gaz has stepped up massively.
I'm nervous.
I had to step up. There's no way he was stepping up. So last night he said to me,
delegation. Nervous.
He said to me, I'll do the butties. I've never seen him cook. I've never seen you make anything. So I was scared. So I was like, I'll take the butties.
You know, the usual podcast style goes, you know, let's tell a bit about where you're from and your childhood.
You'll learn a lot now. You'll learn a lot about this man right now.
This is what we're going to judge you on.
It,
you know, let's see what your butties are like.
I've grown up on these butties, so this is what we're going to see now.
Go on,
right,
go on.
You want the butties now?
No, we're getting them out.
Maybe looks like I brought a bag of hot potatoes down here. So I was up last night proving bread.
We know what this is about.
Hey, this is proper butty. That ain't a butty, mate. You wouldn't go to school with that, would you?
Listen.
Here we go. I didn't know we were allowed to use machines.
Machines?
2 irons. Mate, he's in on the toasting machine.
2 irons.
I had 2 irons on back of these.
I mean, you see that
Fuck's sake.
That's not bad, but mate, I've gone for bread. I've gone French.
Didn't you say you got an Italian family?
I've gone French.
You said Italian though.
I did, yeah. My mum's half Italian, so I went back to my roots with some Italian meats.
What's in that?
Don't ask.
2 pints would do a job on that.
All right, mate. Is this warm? Why is there smoke coming off that?
Why's the smoke coming off it?
Yeah, boys.
Okay, so
I'll tell you what though, we've got a mixture of breads over here.
you have to be
We've
fair.
mixed breads up, lad. So you got a crusty. What do you want, Dan? Do you want crusty roll or do you want a baguette or what?
100%. Sure.
How many have you got here?
Mate, I've got enough butties for everyone.
Yeah, there's enough for everyone.
Dan's just brought 2. I've done everything.
One each. You know what I mean? It's a little
Oh yeah, I brought us a couple each, mate. I didn't know if you were bulking or not.
We're changing the game a bit
That's
on
not
the
bad,
podcast scene.
Hey,
Oh, I tell you,
different breads.
have you cut the middle out of that?
Don't worry
That's
about
posh.
the middle out.
That's really
Hey, we've done it
posh.
properly, mate. Have we
Tom
cut the
made
middle
that.
out? Hey, have a little bite on that, Dan. You'll
Okay,
enjoy
so-
it.
Mike's daughter got on that after the ski and made it this morning.
So we can see clearly
There's levels to it.
there's levels to the sandwich game.
Yeah.
Thanks, Cody.
Nice one, Cody.
Thanks for the coffees.
Thanks a lot.
Brilliant.
So then, grab a butty. We brought 5.
Yeah, have a butty. Choose a butty. Choose which one you want.
Do you like a sandwich?
Sure?
No.
Okay.
We're in.
So we're definitely in now.
I'm going to explain what I'm rocking.
Go
Go on.
We've got a white tiger bread, bit of extra salt there. The steak has been left out last night for an hour. It's not, did half an hour. I've salted it before we've actually, fried it in a pan. We've
Nice,
then rendered the fat on the side, so we've got a bit more in there. Fried it in butter as well. Basted it as we're cooking. There's 3 minutes
we've
either
messed
side
up.
on that. Listen.
You've been set up.
We've been set up.
Oh yeah,
set
set
up
to
loaded
fail.
the deck.
Massive.
Unreal.
Massively. Steak, we've got caramelised onion, red chutney, red onion chutney, and we've got cheese on there, and we've toasted that on there with a little, little toasted
Sound.
crust. What we on with there, guys?
Yeah, cheese and ham, mate. Yeah, we could probably talk about it in a bit, but Isaac is a new member of our team. He turned up to my house at 7 this morning, and I dragged him straight to Aldi, mate. Lidl. So I went Lidl Bakery. Have you been Lidl Bakery before?
It's heavy.
Do you like it?
It's heavy.
These are all the breads from there, mate.
All right.
Selection from the
Right,
world.
You've just gone up there,
He's gone up levels.
Just gone up.
So Lidl breads, as you can see here, got a crusty white, got a nice French baguette. Can't remember what this one is, but we've got the breads is what we brought here, and we've got Italian hams, a little bit of cheese in there, no chutney. It's not toasted. It's your basic model, mate. If yours is GTI, this is basic, mate.
I don't know if you can get that on camera, but
That looks horrible.
I wouldn't, mate. You wouldn't.
I wouldn't get shut down.
Not quite sure on that. Oh, yeah.
seen that before.
Yeah.
Would you be disheartened if I had Dan's?
I don't think I'm eating mine, mate. if I'm
Dig in,
honest.
mate. He's still smoking that over there as well.
Unreal, yeah.
What are we doing then? Are we doing a job on him?
Yeah, get help yourself.
Oh, class,
This is
mate.
where Arky comes in with the ASMR on here, the noises, the
yourself in.
crunch.
So we got...
Boys, it's been toasted, hasn't it, Dan?
God. Oh, wow.
Is it heavy?
Very good.
Help yourself, Dan. I made it.
All right.
That's decent, isn't it?
I mean,
Tell you
Fair
what,
play,
can I
mate.
get any closer to the mic whilst you're chewing on that?
tell you what, Dan. It's all right. Your family's a butchers, though, aren't they?
We are indeed. And that's a little bit of a segment. So, what we were looking at saying is, I've generally grown up on steak butties all the way through. What sort of staples have you used to have had? Obviously, everyone's got different backgrounds and that. What was a normal thing for you to do on a weekend, etc.? Every Saturday for me was football in the morning, steak butties for dinner.
Looking
every
at this.
time, and 5 pounds. I think we were on.
Looking at this, there's not much going on.
We grew up a little bit differently, I think, by the looks of it.
Go on.
Me personally, I'm what's called a pad brat, so my dad was in the army. In a certain part of the army as well where basically didn't see him. And then when he decided to actually fuck off, when I was 10, I think he went out for a sandwich and didn't come back. Actually, I'm getting emotional. Just thinking this.
The boys have brought it out.
He went out for a steak sandwich and never came back. And so I had a shite upbringing, to be fair. So we had zero money, mate. So that's why one of the reasons I joined the army was to go and put food on the table, literally. So, mate, we got what we was given, mate. It certainly wasn't steak butties, so I'm fucking enjoying this, to be fair.
Yeah.
Mate, I was brought up in Yorkshire as well, so mine's all like... My nan used to make Yorkshire pudding butties. You had them before? So, like, get a massive Yorkshire pud, beef, like gravy in there, a little bit of potatoes
Like on
and
the
stuff,
markets
fold
at
it over,
Christmas,
mate.
innit?
Unreal. Yeah, so she used to do them. But yeah, same as... These are posh sarnies in Yorkshire, mate. I turned up to school in Yorkshire,
This is me growing up. When I was actually younger, it was white bread, some roast beef from the day before, cooked through, burnt to fuck. Yeah. I'm actually thinking, or a pie barm. Pie barm was actually the staple of what I'd go for.
Mate, where did you grow up?
Wigan.
Oh, yeah.
Bake chill.
Bake chill.
Bake chill, yeah.
Did you used to take steak sarnies into school?
No.
Nah.
School dinners, but
Yeah.
Robin sausage, but
You couldn't take steak sarnies.
No, you get bullied.
No, I get absolutely nailed.
Get bullied.
I was sort of thinking. Steak butty anyone?
So when my dad fucking sacked it, we moved to the cheapest place we possibly could. Just so happened to be St Helens. That's why we landed up around here. So I've lived all over the world, but we ended up in St Helens just down the road. So that's why I'm here now. So I'm all favour with a pie barn, mate.
Yeah, you boys
know
are
what the detail is.
Know my way around with that.
Muffin man in Beach Hill. It's unrivaled. Trust me.
The muffin man.
Muffin man. There's two of them.
That's where he's hanging out.
There's two in Beach Hill. He's heavy.
Yeah.
Big, large pie barms. That's what I genuinely grew up on.
Class.
Unbelievable.
Brilliant.
What about yourself, Andy?
I'm from Oldham. Shame.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Right, lads, so let's have a little brief overview. Who are you guys? What are you all about?
Gaz will go first. I'm going to scoff this.
Oh, do you want me to go first, yeah? So I'm Gaz. I obviously met you both. Well, didn't meet you, Dan, but I met Andy when he first came down to Redon Performance Centre. So I kind of lead with all the operations in the Redon Group. So Redon Group consists of about 5-6 companies now. So Redon Socks, Redon Performance Centre, Coach Mike Chadwick, Plug-in Rehab.
The app, Challenge app.
Yeah, Challenge app. So we've got 5 businesses that are on the go at the minute. I kind of run the operations in day-to-day of each of them, make his life a little bit easier. But we met in the army, we're in the army together. And yeah, that's essentially where I'm at now. But Mike, what are you?
Tell us more about your military careers. Tell us why. We're very lucky to have the guys down today. There's a lot of experience around the table today. And we're very, very fortunate to be able to do the collab that we have, obviously, with Redon, because, we obviously seen that there's a big gap between, athletics, or should we say high-level athletes, and then the normal gym goers. So it's 100%. Great that we've got you guys, and we're very grateful to be doing this collaboration. So just a little bit about your military background. Like I said, it's a huge part of your lives, and obviously this is the reason why you've got the Redon, and this is why you've put yourself in this position. Just give us a bit about your military background then.
So I'm a former paratrooper, Special Forces Support Group operator, then Royal Army Physical Training Corps instructor. That's where I met Gary. So we in the army, to be at the top level PTI, you come from all walks of the army. Then everyone gets selected into this one little small funnel. That's where we met at Royal Army Physical Training Corps. And so that's my background, and that's fundamentally where Redon came from. So just before you leave the aircraft, obviously as a paratrooper, I've got to jump out of a plane. Before you leave the aircraft, a red light comes on, and then a green light comes on. You've got to leave on that green light. And if you don't, obviously the plane's travelling that fast, the parachute will get open, you'll land in a different spot. So you've got to execute the moment. So everyone talks about the green light. What I decided to do was that I wanted to run with the red light. The red light's the most important. The red is the foundation of everything. So how you prepare for that green light. Now that green light can be a metaphor for anything in life. So it could be the whistle at the start of a footy match. It could be the moment we just started when we were going through the fizz before. What have you done and everything prior to that green light starting? Have you done everything you possibly can to ensure that you can execute that next moment? So that's where I talk about Redon. That's that red light is the single most important thing, is doing all the groundwork, all the prep work to ensure you're ready for absolutely anything, whatever gets thrown at you. That's where the Redon group got born from. And so it still has that military route. So that's my background, and spent most of my time in the parachute regiment, and then fundamentally started, fell in love with like the PTI side of life. So my whole rationale of when I was in the army was to be the best soldier I possibly can be. So I split soldiering up, and I take that away now for the physical side of life 4 ways: tactical, technical, physical and psychological. Tactical and technical side is your soldiering. So that was all I wanted to do. And I was physically fit anyway because I was in the parachute regiment, so I could do whatever was thrown at me. So my whole thing was about going to the next level special forces. All I wanted to do. I ended up being a PTI through mishaps and misfortunes. Basically, to be a PTI in the parachute regiment is very difficult because everyone's fit. So to go and get that next 1% is like really, really difficult to get. I got it because someone didn't write me a report, which is like a big no-no in the army. So I got really lucky to go and get on it, and I just fell in love with it, to be fair. Got myself on a degree in coaching. Didn't tell the army I was in uni. Didn't tell uni I was in army. Don't recommend that, by the way. I was the most boringest bloke, mate, for 3 years. I was fucking... So for 2 years, when I was the lead PTI at CHADWICK for the parachute regiment, for 2 years straight, shit you not, most boring bloke you've ever met in your life, all day, all night. Yeah, still are. Yeah. So all I would do is I'd study every single night. So I'd try and catch up to everyone else who's actually in uni. So every night I'd have to study and try and get all my work done, and then implement theory into practice the following day to between 50 and 200 people. So I felt like that moment, there was not a single person in this country who had as much academia experience right at this moment in time. I was living and breathing physical training. So when the boys were all going out on the piss, all going out climbing, all playing footy in the night, whatever they was doing, I was just studying because I was getting all my training done in the day. And I fell in love with it, and I was like, that was my why. I wanted to be the best at that then. So all I want everyone to do in everything I do is win everything. So at that moment I was thinking, no one's coming near me here. So that's where it just grew, and then Special Force got put to a side, and I was like, I'm pretty decent at this coaching stuff, so I just ran at it and kept going with it, and it's got me here.
Yeah. Gaz, tell us your role within the military. You did a lot of the rehab stuff, right?
Yeah. So
JCBs.
I started off with JCBs.
Started off rehabbing JCBs.
I was saying, so when I first joined the army, so I went into the careers office, and bloke just said to me, do you like Yorkshire? And I was like, mate, I love Yorkshire. I was like, fucking love Yorkshire, yeah, why? And he's like, Yorkshire Regiment. And I was like, sound, I'm in. Went home to my granddad, and he was like, nah, you need a trade. Went back in the next day, and it was like, right, what you can do and get in quick is go and fucking work on diggers and stuff. And I was like 16, 17 year old. But diggers, yeah, I'm in on that. Like JCVs, I love it. Love Bob the Builder, let's go. But yeah, I did like bomb disposal, then moved over to the PT side of it. But there's two...
What's bomb disposal like?
Yeah, we're just going to brush over that.
Don't brush over that.
It's a fairly heavy topic, that.
Yeah. You know, bomb disposal and then just some rehab stuff.
Yeah,
Tell us what that's like.
Well, so my role for the bomb disposal side was to basically clear pathways into buildings for Afghan and Iraq so that paras, SF, whoever can go in and not get blown up when they go in. So I was the guy they used to call when they'd be like, we're fucking sat in a minefield, can you get us out? Which is heavy. It was all right, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you only do it for a certain amount of time, don't you? So when I got to a point of like 8 years, there was a point, so I was saying the other day to someone that we used to get a map of like every time someone had been blown up or an ID had gone off, and I've got a big map at home of what on my tour when it had happened. It was like 290 odd times. I give it to my mum for Christmas, and she was just like, why the fuck have you given me this?
Merry Christmas!
I let you go. You're lucky I'm back.
Guys like yourselves, at what point do you think, you know what, that's actually pretty fucking mad, this?
Yeah, do you ever think that?
Now,
Only now. In the moment,
now you can reflect on it.
Mate. In the moment, like so when we was in Afghan, you're living and breathing in that moment. So the moment you come back, it's like a drug. All you want is that. There's nothing more like uplifting them, walking out the door and having a scrap. I don't know why, it's fucking crazy.
That transition when you come back, do you get excited to go back again though?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
He's like, just want to go back.
Yeah, so you're fighting people around town and stuff to get that buzz. Like it's a weird situation to come back into, and it's like trying to get yourself back in. Your senses and everything is just heightened to an inch of its life, and you just feel, when something's going to kick off. You'll be patrolling in Afghan. You'll get to a certain stage in Afghan. I shit you not, or wherever you've been on tour, and you'd be like, you'll go, something's going to happen. You just feel it. You know it's going to happen. I don't know what it is. Like, it's another sense. It's like something's going to happen, and it'll just kick off instantly. And it's like you bring that home with you, and obviously that dies out, but.
It's like, because like you say about cars backfiring, I was chatting to another guy before when I first came back from Iraq. So there's a siren that goes off in Iraq when you get in a rocket attack. An 18-year-old sat there just going, like he felt normal, like you say there. It was the exact same alarm as the M&S lorry when it reverses, mate. So I was in M&S. How mad's this? I was in M&S at 18.
Getting some apples.
I was in there with my mum. And this lorry reverse in M&S, there is an M&S in Scarborough, and I just hit the deck. And my mum was like, what on earth's going on? And I was like, we're in Scarborough, aren't we? But you're so in tune, and you're in that moment, you're like, this just fucking happens, It's same as when you're training now, like, you're in the locker, but you just keep going. You're just in tune to just move on to the next exercise and just keep moving at you. It's the exact same as that. I think it don't feel real until, like, now when some bloke goes, you went to war at 18? That's mad. And you're like, it fucking is a bit mad.
Yeah.
Like the ability to brush over IDs in a convoy, it's like, no.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of like hope and luck, or is it pure strategy and it is what it is? There's a shit sandwich here, but it's a bomb, right? You're going to come towards it. Like, what is it? Is it genuinely like, I know exactly what I'm doing, or is there a bit of luck and hope?
This was the issue.
For you, Mike,
yeah,
well,
so like for when you boys are
same.
doing it, I've been on course after course how to deal with IEDs and bombs and stuff like that. When you boys are doing it, it's potluck. Hence why we come and help you out sometimes. Whereas we're doing it, it's like it's just a bomb. I know what I'm doing with it, and I can, defuse it or blow it up. Whereas for you boys, it's slightly different.
So when we're scrapping, slightly different to bomb disposal is we use a notion known as so what. And I do that now in a coaching practice. And so just before we go out the door, we will have some sort of intel on where we're going to go and what we're going to do. And an example of that could be we're going to go into this compound. There's research that showcases that there's 4 fighting age males. Each one is carrying certain kind of weapon system. They've done this, they've done that, they've had scraps before. These are where they'd normally be. These are what they normally do. So what? We've got 12 fucking paratroopers about to go through the door. Each are carrying this, each are doing that, each doing that. And it basically just big the boys up going,
we're not
fucking so what? They have no idea what's coming through that door now. And then that's how we do it. So we get into the mindset. It's about switching the odds. Mm-hmm. So that's what I do now whenever. So we.
Like me with my buddies.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So you've
done me, mate. I was a Taliban sat there like, what's going on? Carving my own bread.
So we do that now. We do that now whenever we're coaching people. So our biggest demographic is now coaching people to go on to the most arduous courses in the world. An example like UK Special Forces, etc., or Special Forces all around the world. And all we do is we flip the odds. It's the hardest course in the world. So what? And what we start doing is we start creating 1% each way. We've got prevention of injury strategies through plug-in rehab. We've got the guy who sits on the highest board in nutrition in the country. He's going to square your nutrition away, and he's going to go on competition with you. So when you're on the hills phase, he's going to look after your nutrition for you. You've got me there, you've got this there. There's your program. It's the most specific program in the world. There's no one going to come anywhere closer than this is our so what. This is what we're going to do about it. And straight away, this person goes, okay, so it is achievable.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you get the buy-in. So we say, I took over a training program in the military. It was known as Op Achilles. I didn't name it. It's a shite name. Some officer would have won an MBE off the back of it. And so I created that, and they was going to sack the parachute regiment pathway from Harrogate. And what we did is I got asked to take it on, and could I do anything about it? And I was like, yeah, sounds. So I took it on. Long story short is we tripled the pass rate. We had like the highest pass rate on P Company since like World War II. These are 16, 17-year-old boys now passing the fitness test for the paras and smashing it. And all it was we created the notion of you are now an athlete. Fucking so what? That's what it is. So what? And here's what we're going to do. All of a sudden, so at the start, my first iteration of it was I had 20 people turn up. When I left Harrogate, there was 100 people wanting to join the paras from that. So not only did we now triple the pass rate, there was 5 times more people starting. So we got triple the pass rate of 5 times more people. The numbers went through the roof. And there was a stat that someone showed me on, did you hear about the op pit and stuff where the boys went and got everyone out of Afghan? You see all that stuff on the Sky News where the paras went in and had to get everyone out of Afghan? And it was like touch and go, whether it was going to kick off or not. And the boys did an incredible job. Most of them had gone through the op Achilles pathway, which was pretty cool. So these are young lads now. I've just gone and straight away 18 in Afghan. And it wasn't like what we was doing, we just had to go out the door and scrap. We're very, very good at that. This was like so different in regards to politics. There was so you can't fire your weapon. You've got to look after people. You've got to understand the situation.
Different kind of rules
different
going on
kind
now.
of whole different ball games. Probably heightened stress levels more than what I've ever seen.
And mental capability, they've got to be way different.
18-year-old kids doing it and making these decisions and judging this thing, and it was like I was like fucking fair play. And that's when it dawned on me what we did. And I went and did a presentation to every defence attaché in the world attached to the military.
What was the biggest difference then, if you're saying that? So obviously you've changed the way that it's gone. What is the difference?
So
what
we did. So from a physiological standpoint, I created a better program.
Yeah.
But our biggest and best win was we ate pizza together. I got them together every single night. And what we did is we increased calories, because what I did is I found a window of opportunity. So when you have adolescent physical development, I'm going to bore the fuck out of everyone now. Let's go. Stand by. So when you look at adolescence, they're significantly different to adulthood, and within that there's a window of opportunity. So females are a lot younger, but males just so happen to be between 16 and 18. The testosterone levels go through the roof, and when testosterone levels go through the roof, the best thing we can do, hypertrophy. Let's fucking stack the boys. And I was like, let's do less but more specific. I was like, the single reason why they're failing Paradise Depot 1% again is through injury. The bodies can't withstand the rigors of training, so let's cut that out. We ain't looking to create paratroopers. I'm looking to create a foundation of strength to hand over these paratroopers to the world-class instructors of parachute regiment for them to build paratroopers. Not me, that's not my job right now. I'm in the early stage of adolescence with
the foundations right first.
Foundations. Stack the boys, make them stronger around the joints that are most likely to get injured, and create this mindset that you are an athlete. 16-year-old kid, I'm stood in front of them going, you're a fucking athlete. Guess what happens when you start calling people an athlete? Start acting like an athlete.
It, of course.
And it changed the whole dynamic of it. We're not here to survive. We ain't
Just the way they
surviving,
carry
we're
themselves
thriving.
around.
Oh, mate, the whole dynamic of it changed, and these people are bouncing around camp going, well, I can do this, and I will do this. Last pass rate's gone up to 48%. Our pass rate's gone up to 52%. We're now at 59%, 60% pass rate. We turned people who didn't believe in us into believers, and all of a sudden, they're cutting around like the tactical athlete. And this whole dynamic changed, and it started by I made all meet together and got them all pizzas. So we increased calories to increase, because we was now going to do hypertrophy. We needed more calories. So I wrote to the naval defence, whatever it's called. You know, we deal with like nutrition in the army. You were paying the arse, but I managed to get an extra meal in, which was the pizza or whatever we possibly could do, and it went through the roof, mate. So at the end, what we do is so I brought all things forward into this phase as well, so I got them all kitted up before they went. I met their ongoing instructors before they went. And I remember we stood in the hall towards the end of this programme that we did. And they all had their tops off, all getting measured. Mate, they were all stacked. They all stood there stacked, and I was looking around going, and you could see them looking at each other going, we're fucking stacked here, let's go, let's go. And I was thinking, these are 16, 17-year-old boys, and they're good. And I was like, the best thing, so when I stood in front of these defence attachés, I said, I was getting all these awards. I was on the Queen's Birthdays Honours list in 2019. I was getting all sorts of commendations from bigwigs. And I was stood in front of everyone. I said, the fruits of our labour isn't now. I said, you're going to see something very special in 5, 10, 15 years, because these boys ain't getting injured. So not only now are you getting a 16, 17, 18-year-old lads by the time they finish coming through, is they're there for good. Not like when I went through Depot. I survived. 9 out of 65 made it when I went through Power Edge Depot. It's brutal. It's fucking ruthless.
What about in the aftermath as well? Obviously that initial phase. What about then after that?
That's exactly. So after that, knees are fucked, backs are fucked. You literally... We're not driving him we're not looking for performance in Depot, you're looking to survive. You just survive and hold on for dear life. So what I was trying to say is that these defence attachés, these boys are not surviving anymore, they're fucking thriving, and they're ready to court, they'll do anything, and you ain't breaking them, load them, do whatever the fuck you want to do to them now. That's what I wanted to say, is that create a foundation of strength, and you can thrash them to an inch of their life and create that, put the calluses on the hands and in the mind, destroy them, because they ain't breaking. Because they now believe they're an athlete, their body's ready to withstand the rigours, but most importantly, the head up there going, fucking throw it at me, watch.
So when you say so what, it's a completely different scenario in there.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Exactly.
How is it you guys manage then? Because all that experience, all that knowledge, these are for people that want to join the military. These are the guys that really genuinely want to be there, and they'll probably do anything to get it, okay, with your knowledge and experience. How do we then relate to, we'll call it my kind of people? So when we came to your facility, we was like, oh yeah, we're going to this little secret gym here. This is where all the special forces guys go and train, you know. And I think actually that is such a great thing that you've got going on there, because we understand that there's some things you can, you know, tell people, and there's some things you can't by the nature of what you guys do for the special forces. So we was like, yeah, lads, we're going down to this gym here. This is where all the big boys train, you know. But how do you now change your approach from being that kind of military, I guess, mindset and I guess the way you operate and bring it to people like me? Because when we came over, like, was obviously amazed at the facility and the testing that we did, and you know, some of the results that we got. It was like, oh great, yeah, we understand it from a science point of view, you know, some of it. How do you, I don't want to say chill out, but how do you change the way you do things for people like us?
I think we've tried to bridge the gap, haven't we? So what we've done is we have top 5 UFC athletes go in there. We have special forces operators in there daily. We have, you know, the top of the top people in the UK. And I think the reason why we wanted to build a collaboration with a hybrid performance centre was because, like, we want to bring it to the public. Like, we want you to have a feel for what a special forces operator goes through testing wise, what a UFC athlete goes through testing wise. And I think, like, when you came in and you did it, it's like a look into, fuck me, if I was an elite athlete, this is what they're going through. Like, I am now an athlete. I'm ready to fucking give everything on that lactate threshold test. I'm ready to go, you know, toe to toe on a explosive jump test. And when we're feeding you little bits of information going, we had an SF bloke in here yesterday and he went to 21 minutes. All of a sudden in your head you're going, like, I'm not coming off this. You're going to have to fucking drag me off this.
We flipped it, didn't we? So the way you're looking at it there is that we've done that based upon the SF guys. There's no science or research for tactical athlete development. I trademarked tactical athlete probably about 5-6 years ago. I come up with the concept in 2014 when I went to Para Edge Depot to go back as an instructor all those years later. I wanted to treat the boys like athletes. I had that mindset straight away that I didn't want them to just think of themselves as soldiers. I want you to be an athlete. I want to go one step further and be a tactical athlete. So it was not a case of, an athlete's really easy to go to train. Your marathon run means you increase endurance.
Of course.
Tactical athlete, you've got to increase every component of fitness and be ready to call upon it at any given time. It's virtually impossible to train. It's nails. And so what we did is flip that. We put tactical athletes, is what we call them, into an elite sporting context. So the performance centre that we've got, the Redon Performance, is based on elite sport, and we place tactical athletes in there, so it's actually applicable to everybody. And that's one of the things that we want to do, is we want to make that level of elitism available to everybody.
Yes, that's the kind of style we always look with the gym. It's bridging that gap between the elitist, obviously CrossFit movements, really heavy gymnastics, etc., and obviously the basic kind of gym classes and normal hypertrophy. We're in that middle ground where we love strength training, we love hypertrophy, we love doing endurance feats, we like doing all of it basically. And we're getting that to the Gen Pop to be able to do that as well. Like, obviously me and you try and do as much as we can of different events, whatever, and it's always been the same within the gyms. And whenever we did block deads, everyone started doing block deadlifts. Everyone copies and wants to do the same kind of thing and aspires to do stuff. And that's the way we've kind of run it within here.
You know, like you guys say, you was treating the soldiers like athletes, you know, every member, and this is kind of our mantra, I guess. This is like, we always say that everybody can get it, okay? In this gym, we've got high-level athletes, and we've also got 50-year-old women that want to do their thing, yeah? And what we always say is that everybody can get it, and we want to treat everybody exactly the same and give them their opportunity. We obviously know that there's levels to it, do you know what I mean? There's levels. How do you guys, if you do, treat the lower end of the spectrum of athlete?
Everyone's an athlete. So
it,
that 50-year-old person you just mentioned, same conversation happens. From this day forward, you are an athlete. And it doesn't matter whether you want to get up off the couch and walk to the kitchen for the first time in your life, or you want to go and pass UK Special Forces selection. From this day forward, you're an athlete, and I'm going to treat you accordingly. So, and we're brutal, and we're ruthless with what we want to do. We have to win everything. So, exactly. And if you want to get involved in that, and you want to come on board with us, and whether that is to go to the kitchen for the first time as a 50-year-old woman, I don't care. I'm going to push you to an inch of your life to go and do that. Obviously, we're going to scale back, and it's going to be small steps, the same as what we do with anybody, but we'll do it because you're an athlete. And therefore, what happens when you do that is that 1 hour session, whatever they come in, they train in here, it's another 23 hours in the day, but you've called them an athlete for 1 hour. They're going to go home and they're going to treat themselves like an athlete. They're going to start thinking, would an athlete eat that? I'm an athlete. Would an athlete drink that?
Yeah. And actually, like what you've got going on here, and one of the reasons why me and Chad were chatting about trying to build something together with the team was because you've got that ethos within the gym. And there's a reason why the 50-year-old women come to the gym to train with the 23-year-old elite athletes, because they want a bit of that. I want to remember that I can still train with them boys, and I want to do that. And that's why we treat everyone exactly the same. When you come into this, when you come in for testing, we don't go, oh, you know, chill out, go on the bike and just have a nice chill lactate.
You don't need to go to that level. You
absolutely. Everything is, by the way, you are at the standard of a SF soldier, of the UFC athlete. You know, for your age, you're in the top fucking 1%, and that's exactly what we want from you. And we can give people stats, and we want to breed like excellence. I think the world's everything's comfortable nowadays, isn't it? So if we can get people out and about,
we're going to touch on that.
We're going to get into that, boys. Oh yeah,
nice.
No,
that's right.
It's a nice segue.
You know, obviously we've experienced the testing at your place. We definitely see the value in it of what we can now do with that information.
Yeah.
For our members, what is it in your words that the testing that you guys do can give them within their programs? Obviously, a lot of the guys in here follow our training plans. Some of them have personal training,
100%.
some of them have coaches, etc. But in your words, what is it that your testing can do for our members that's going to really help them achieve bigger things? Because there's a lot of guys in here, maybe joined 2 years ago, was only running 5 or 10Ks. There's guys here doing ultra marathons now. There's people doing out of nowhere. There's guys doing CrossFit comps. There's guys doing the Athexes. You know, there's a lot of people now that have really, really progressed, and they're probably at a point now where they're thinking, what's next? How does that work? How can that help?
Well, that's why we've got Dr. Ash Cox, who runs our performance centre, and anyone who's been there, you'll know like the mind he's got and how scientific it is. If you just sat him on here now, you'd be bored to death because there's so much science behind it. But there's a reason. Yeah, there's a reason why. Because he's been educated for 15, 16 years in this very field. So when we can bring in one of your members and we can give them genuine points, so we can all go in and go, right, let's do 5 rep max back squat now. And you know, on Monday you might get 170. On Tuesday you might get 130 because you're knackered or whatever it may be. But with Ash, has got the data set there to go, I know for a fact your 1 rep max is X number. And you can argue it all you want, but it's fucking science.
You know, the best bit about that lactate test, is that when we was doing, I did the run, didn't I? You did the bike. It's like, you can tell by the blood when that person is about to give up.
Yeah.
You just know, because it's the number that you see it creeping up, the lactate's creeping up. So if somebody's on the treadmill saying, I've had enough, you can go, you fucking not. You've not had enough. Like, you've definitely not.
And it goes the other way. I clotheslined the bloke off the other day. Literally fucking dragged him off because the blood told me so, and he was going,
he's running side to side.
I was going, do not fucking come off this, remember who you are and where you're going, do not come off this treadmill. And then I looked at guys and I just slowly moved around the back of him and I was like, he's coming off.
He's coming for me now.
But I wanted him to push that 10 seconds. I wanted to give him 10 seconds of going, okay, I know where I am, mate. I'm happy.
Yeah.
The most important part about what Gaz has just said about testing metrics are cool, what we do with the data is cooler.
What you do with it, innit?
And that's the most important part. So that's what we do from a testing facility, is we put it into our terms, is a member may come in here who is an athlete. What we would do is they would come over to our centre, get tested. We would then give you guys the report and you would then interpret that into their programme. So it'll help with structure and it will give you quicker wins and it will make sure that you're in the right zone if you go and running. Loads of people get confused with that type of stuff and it's either balls out all the time, and if it's not balls out, I'm not growing. Where we all know that that's not the case. You look at the, I think it's called the Kenyan Shuffle, where the fastest guy ever over a marathon, never seen this Kenyan Shuffle. It is literally like 10, 30, 11-minute miles, and he just literally, and this is the fastest guy ever, and his zone 1, zone 2 works just a dead slow shuffle. People don't like to do that. People don't do the shit.
Exactly. You know what? We're bad for that.
100%. So are we.
So
I'm always trying to put it into, exactly, and I'm always trying to place it into the athletes by saying, listen, we need to do the shit things that no one else is doing. We're doing the boring stuff. We're doing that warm up. And if someone comes up to us who's like in the 30s and wants to go on special force selection, I'm like, you're going to have to do so much boring shit that you don't want to do if you want to go and be successful in this, because you ain't that young pup anymore, and you've got to do it.
That's what our culture needs to change.
This is our culture, right?
Yeah.
What advice can you give, obviously our members and other guys are obviously listening, what advice can you give our guys the most about this kind of topic?
What? The standard thing is easy days are supposed to be easy. Like, there's so many people going out there and blitzing their easy days, isn't they? Or if you were to pull out, and I guarantee for all your members now, if you went, right, show me what your easy run is at, your 5 mile easy run, I bet all of them are at 130 to 160-ish heart rate. In easy, really, is it? That's like zone 3, zone 4. So,
the same goes for long bike rides. How many times have you gone out with that plan and gone, you know what, fuck it?
Yeah, I'll just fucking push.
Oh, you'll see someone and you're like, I'm fucking catching
let's go.
It's cars for me that get me.
I'm trying to push this narrative over here, but really I'm fucking chasing someone over here.
We had it a couple of weeks back, we were out for a ride and I thought I could get a bus. I thought, fuck it, I'm getting a slipstream.
Yeah.
And he's
Just shut off straight away. He's like, you're not catching a bus, lad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No. But that's the issue as well with calling people athletes.
Yeah.
That people get that elite mindset and go, you watch how fast I'm on this 5 miler, and I'm running up Rivington Pike now, and there's a dog up there, I'm fucking beating that dog up. You know what I mean? But it's like, it's that, so you've almost got to temper everything down. And when Ash is giving you hard data going, your zone 2 work is 90 beats a minute to 100 beats a minute, that's facts. Like, we can't shy away. Like, I'd love to go, nah, mate, my zone 2's 160, mate, don't worry about that.
People find that you're going to have to fucking walk for a bit in this run.
And it is.
You don't want to do it.
But the report says so, and the report dictates to you an athlete. So that's what an athlete does. And if you want to be an athlete, that's what you have to do. So when you're sat there cycling, you're looking around thinking, everyone here thinks I'm mincing it, everyone thinks I'm fucking just crutting. That's what you've got to do.
Yeah.
You do the shit things that no one else wants to do.
He's the worst for it.
I'm the worst for it.
He's the worst for it.
We've
you
got
just get a little look. You just tapped Jack's ass before he was like, come on then.
Yeah.
Mate, Jack carried me in that session.
What's going on here?
We've got an elite Ironman triathlete who's on our books, and she got a report back from Ash, and her easy run is 11-minute miles. She's like,
Can't do it.
She's like, no.
She's like, it's not right. I can't do that. I can't run at that pace. And I was like, that's just how you've got to run. Like, you're going to have to get your head around it. If you want to get to the next level, that's how you need to do. She's looking to go pro this year. So, like, there's genuine facts, but almost you've got to get that buy-in on the athlete again to go, I promise you, this is the facts, this is what's happened. Look, the other day we did a High Rocks athlete who came in and she did the lactate threshold test.
Yeah, I seen that.
Ash came out with it and went, your predicted 10k time
Was she like 2 seconds?
Yeah.
2 seconds
out.
difference.
2 seconds out. And that's from taking blood.
And that was also well faster than what she's previously done. So we basically looked at that and said, you can fucking do this.
Yeah.
That's your time. Lo and behold, 10k just so happened to happen. She had a comp a week later, 2 weeks later, went and hit, nailed the time. It's like, because in her head, she's gone, oh, I can do that. Here's my splits, hold the splits, and I can do that time because data says so.
The data.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, so say you get that client who's pushing back now, I can't run there. What do you do? So you need some kind of win, don't you, to get them on side? What do you do?
That's where your coaching comes into it. So we've got 15 years of coaching experience, and I think that's where we all become good coaches, is to get the athletes buy-in again. I don't think anyone can sit there and go, no, you have to do this, and be very prescriptive like a PT, but that's where you need to know the person. You need to be a good coach to do it.
I talk about it all the time. Coaching is such an incredible facet of training whereby we have all this knowledge on the body and how to manipulate it. But if you can't communicate that, it means fuck all. So if you can't get your point across from a psychosocial point of view into the terminology that athlete needs, there's no dramas in calling your bicep a bicep, your ass. Like, if that's the language the athlete needs, and that's what you've got to tell them. And it starts with why. That's their buy-in. Here's what I want to go and achieve. Well, if you want to do that, I'll run with you every step of the way, and I'll run through walls to ensure that we win, because we do it as a team. This is the data, though. And then you go to the next facet, which is results spark confidence. I'm going to retest you in 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever it is. This can be an external test, so this can be, we utilise the testing metrics that we use with every single athlete. And internal testing, what we mean by coming over to the centre, we do that every 3 months. Results spark confidence. It's known as perpetual growth as well. It's going to be you, be the old version of you, and I want you to fucking destroy him. Before you can beat everyone else, I want you to go and beat yourself. So when they come back, 4 or 5 weeks, what we normally do. Now, we both know that adaptations don't take place between 9 and 12 weeks. we see 100% rise, increase in performance in 4 weeks' time. Every single athlete we work with, for a couple of reasons. One, we treat them like an athlete, change the game straight away. Before we do anything, before we do any metrics, before we do anything on paper, you're an athlete, change the game straight away. We ingrain habits. We have Gary from Plugin who does his like prevention of injury work. He starts utilising like the warm-up strategies. We have Ash looking at the clinical side, looking at the nutrition side. We're getting all these 1% everywhere. Every athlete wins, and the moment they win in 4 weeks' time, and then we go, can you imagine what we're going to do in 6 months? 9 months. We're in. We're done. That's it. Buy-in. Results spark confidence. Showcase your wins, and you're in then. The moment they go, holy shit, look what I've done in 4 weeks' time. And you see some dramatic, like I'm talking, especially the lower the training age, the bigger the gain. Obviously, we work with people who's like, we're looking for 1% gains, but we still celebrate them to an inch of his life.
Do you think because who you are and what you have done, you naturally attract that person that's going to behave like that? Do you think that's the case? Because in our world as well, we have people that
it's a big mix.
think that they want to be like that. You put it on their toes and you say, right, okay, you've got to do this, 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 and this now. Yeah. And then it comes round to their session, it comes down to the check-in, it's like, have you... Where are we at? Yeah, and it's like, no, I've not done it.
Yeah, and we've just changed our strategy, haven't we, for onboarding people, because we've got the highest pass rate across every arduous course in the country. We're the best at what we do from a tactical athlete point of view. What that then does is people automatically think that pass rate crosses over to them and they don't have to put the work in. It just happens.
Just because you're affiliated, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
That kind of vibe.
Words are worthless without execution. A program is worthless without the athlete buy-in. It means nothing. We can give you the best prescription in the world, but if you don't apply effort at the other end, it means fuck all. So we've just had to change it, and we now do a 30-minute strategic call where we literally look someone in the eye and go, are you fucking on with it? Because I'm ruthless. I'm like, I am on it, and you can probably tell I'm very passionate about this shit. They get on a call with me, and some people just go, I don't need this in my life.
Just slam the laptop short.
Someone's at the door, I'm going to have to go.
I've said it before, the amount of like, people we've seen come through, got the fanciest stuff, the fanciest plans, and like, we're stood here, like, we're not even tracking any metrics, like, I'm going to smoke you anyway, lad. Because you don't apply yourself to anything.
Well, that's where your coaching comes into it as well, like the fact, you can drag out how many online coaches are out there and look at their plans and go, and I say it from a rehab point of view and I say it from a programming point of view, if it looks too complicated, it's too complicated. That's just a fact of life, innit? There's what we've just done in there. It wasn't complicated, was it? It was just an old-fashioned grinding session. Well, that's going to improve your anaerobic system, your aerobic system, your strength. Like,
for sure,
there was nothing in there where I went, what the fuck are we doing on there? Why are we doing that bit? It was all just sensible stuff that we're going through. And there's too many people trying to overcomplicate training, rehabilitation, lifestyle, whatever it may be. Just fucking keep it simple. I guarantee if you go to...
Daisy chained on the Smith press.
Exactly, yeah, that was it, yeah. If we go to any of the top level athletes who we work with, or anyone in the world who's an elite athlete and went, show me a programme, it'll be 5x5 back squat. Just do that. It won't be, right, I need you to do all this fancy stuff and
minimal
all this kind of stuff, and you go,
dose.
what's on here? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Minimal effective dose.
It's madness.
You consider boiling the kettle, at 188 Fahrenheit or something. It will continue to boil. Boil's boiled. Get in, get it done, and get out. Minimal effective dose. Do the bare minimum to get the biggest bang for your buck. And that's what we have with every single athlete.
Like we've seen in the past with running stuff, especially on the endurance side of things, where you get the most complicated stuff through. And it's like, you know what, I have no idea where to even start with this plan. No. Like, time on the feet when it comes to long endurance, just time on the feet can be 100%. So much more outweighing than this exact wattage on this time. It's like, it's so hard to do that.
Biking's biking, running's running, isn't it? Like, just get out and, if you're doing an ultra marathon, get out and get some miles on your leg.
Some miles.
Lads joining the army, one of the first things, I always get asked questions like, I'm joining the army, such, you got any tips for me? Have you ever spent 12 hours on your feet? Have you ever stood on your feet for 12 hours? You ever just been walking? Because that's what you're going to do. For the first 6 weeks, have you ever done it?
Waiting.
Have you ever done it?
And they're like, walk about.
No, I've never done that. I have an office job. Well, you're in for a big shock then. Before you even start running, your running session's probably a week later after your medical. Before that, you're bouncing from the stores to go and grab your new kit. You got the scoff house. You do liaise with the gym. You got your accommodation. Have you ever tried that? And they're like, no. We'll start there.
Yeah, start.
Dead simple.
Some of these haven't been up for 12 hours, never mind.
Exactly.
12 hours.
So I want to change the pace a little bit of this now, boys. So mental health is obviously a massive thing, okay? And when we were chatting about this podcast, I kept saying to you, didn't I? I want to make it so relevant to the people that we serve. I want to make it so relevant to the members that come in, the lads and the girls. And that was one thing that I wanted to talk to you about. Obviously, it's a huge topic, and we've got our personal views on it. Okay, whatever. You guys have obviously had experience in the military, and experienced a lot more things than most have. But I don't really want to leverage it on that. Just use that. How do you guys manage people with poor mental health, or how do you guys manage it yourselves?
You're the best guy. You had a fucking full-on breakdown. Go on.
Yeah, no, so I was. Here we go.
I can tell by your voice.
Yeah, you see that? That's my life, that there. No, so my background, obviously, I was one of the clinical leads at Headley Court, so biggest military hospital in the UK. So we would get a lot of people, and so we'd break it into courses. So we'd have to assess people for lower limb issues, and if you had psychosocial issues, we would move you into a secondary kind of phase of it. So that's when we had to like look at strategies, what works for him, what wouldn't work for him, and all that kind of stuff. But I suppose from my own personal standpoint, so I got out of the military same time as you 3 years ago now. So 3 years ago, which is the biggest shock you can do, I think. Coming out of the military where you are surrounded by your mates, doing whatever you want to do and all that kind of stuff, and then coming into the normal world, and I was like,
well, like you're saying, oblivious to IEDs.
Yeah, mate, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
So I never processed anything, mate, until I got out of the military, and I think once I got out, I was like, oof, what the fuck is this going on? At the same time, I'd like my missus from my fiance from 10 years, she left. Pandemic happened, everything it was just. I came out on the day the pandemic happened, and I remember just thinking, "Fuck me, what is this life? This is life, isn't it? Yeah, what's going on here?" So I can speak from my own point of view of the thing that brought me back from. I'd say I was in a bad place, but the thing that brought me back was I went into CrossFit, and I went into that group training environment, the community environment, and I think having people of the same mindset, the same ethos, driving you forward and going, there's a reason to get out of bed, go fucking train. And then once you start clicking onto that, I go, I need to be up at 6 in the morning, so-and-so's up at 6 in the morning, it's a brotherhood, I need to make sure that I'm there for that, because I ain't letting him down.
We know that.
You know, so it's that building up strategies for me to go, this works for me, I know it works for me, I know there's a stat, I can't remember what it was, it's something like physical training's 115% more effective than any antidepressant drugs.
Of course.
So, I mean, let's start there.
Yeah.
If you are, and the vast majority of people I saw at Headley Court when I was in a clinical capacity were overweight, the vast majority of them. So where do we start? Get in the gym, mate. Just, even if you're sitting on a bike for 60 minutes and you're watching someone else do a session, do something, get the endorphins going. Let's like move it in that sense. I think we have to now change the focus from go see a doctor, because all the GPs,
tablets.
Yeah, all the GPs is a prescriber of going, take some paracetamol, you got a bad knee, take some antidepressants, you sound depressed. They just give out that kind of stuff when actually we need to be doing what actually makes a person tick: physical exercise, a purpose, that kind of stuff. Get them bought into that kind of thing. So we work with, and we're doing obviously the workout on the 11th for Reorg. So Reorg have a really good model. So they take veterans that have come out of the military and are suffering with their poor mental health. What they do is, if you go to them and say, I'm feeling a bit bad, I'm struggling, they've got a whole thing where their whole ethos is, we take all our money from the charity and we give you a year's worth of CrossFit. We give you a year's worth of jiu-jitsu. Go in, we'll pay for it. I want you in there 5 days a week. Yeah. So either CrossFit or whatever, we're going to check that you're in there 5 days a week. And then what happens is they go, right, mate, we're going to stop funding you after a year or whatever it may be. Everyone stays on. Everyone's feeling better. Everyone's still there, more importantly. Do you know what I mean? So that's the reason why we're going down that route.
That's the single denominator. It's the community. So that's something. So people leaving the military, probably the biggest thing that they struggle with, and it's not just the military, it's every walk of life, is they have a lack of community. And it's one of the reasons why I'm hiring all ex-soldiers now who's coming onto the Redon group. So I got to a position with Redon group, and we're doing all right. You said it the other day, we're eating okay. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, we're doing fine.
Steak butties are coming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can start affording steak butties, and it was like, I need the boys around me again. So when I was in the Reg, I was away for 3 weeks out of 4, but with my best mates, travelling around the world, doing whatever we was doing. I then went to PT Corps, and one of the first things I realised straight away that I'm on my own, I'm a manager now. So the boys don't want to be with me, do you know what I mean? They want to go with somebody. I'm managing a group of people, so I was just like, fuck. Then when I left, I was like, you know, it was exactly the same thing. It was in like the COVID stuff, and I was like, I'm lacking community, and I knew straight away. I knew exactly what it was. But so I had a why. I need to build this shit now to get me into a position where I can start bringing people around me. Not to build the business. Got no intention. I still pay myself the same money I earned in the army. I'm not money orientated, but I need a group around me. So I've just started. My background's playing football or doing any sort of tactical athlete stuff. So I'm starting doing all this hybrid stuff, the CrossFit stuff. I love just getting in the locker. I fucking live in the locker. I've lived in that for years and years. That's me. Do you know what I mean? Getting in there, just looking around, and everyone's in exactly the same position, in absolute disarray. And you think, this is me. I love this type of shit. And that's the single facet, it's community. You get that community.
Obviously, you must get a few people who come in that are fairly shy when they first start, and you can, but without like diagnosing someone, you can feel
you know what the vibe is.
You know, don't you?
But then you can see them grow in that community to be like team players and being part of the community and running different stuff and things like that.
And that's
so
where you can focus on these people and buzz them up. Like you'd be surprised that just knowing someone's name and giving them time of day.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Like we always pride ourselves, we know everyone's name. That's the point. Like I had a client say, "Fucking hell, literally know everyone who walks in." It's like, yeah. That's the point. We've known that since we've PT'd. Obviously, from a business point of view, it's great. You know the whole gym kind of like member base. Obviously, moving into owning the gyms and things like that, if you know everyone's name, you know something about them, they feel like they belong to this community, and that's and they do, and that's 100%. The point.
That's what we do with athletes coming on board. We make sure that they know that if we're going to do this, we're going to do it as a team. This is the team. I introduce everyone. I introduce a team to the person and said, you are now one of us. Let's go and win. And we'll win as a team. So when we get a message off one of the boys who just passes UKSF selection, all we do is we go through the secret athlete code of conduct. We spoke about it before. We don't tell anyone we work with you. You don't tell anyone we work with us. We train in science, we win in science. Really shit for marketing, so no one take that away. But really powerful for winning. And all we get at the end, is a message saying, Mike, thank you, I'm in. That's it. And it's fucking unbelievable. It's great. And I feel that we've done something great there because we did it together. And we recognise that we've done it together. I still speak to the boys now who've gone on to do incredibly special things, and it's like, it's so powerful that we did that as a team. That community did that together, and that's, you take that from a mental health perspective, it's the same shit.
Yeah.
Blokes need blokes.
Yeah. For those listening now that have not had a military background, that have got an half-decent job, they are training, but they still feel like shit, and they don't feel like they're progressing in life. Where do you think the issue is there? Because I know for certain, because I think
on purpose before.
Yeah, it's purpose.
I feel like we've all had sticking points, and us four sat here now, when we're looking to take, for example, businesses to the next level, we're all sat here as businessmen. It's like we're facing some challenges now that we need to overcome, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like there's some friction there, and it's like, right, we need to get smarter here, we need to figure this out. So, what would you tell somebody who is they are ticking the box, nutritional, they're ticking the box with exercise. They're around a group of people, but they still don't feel like they're progressing.
You've
got to look inwards, haven't you?
Well, the moment you come to terms with it's never going to be enough. That 200 kg deadlift that you first get when you first ever nip that, you want more. Yeah. Whenever you run your first sub 3 hour marathon, it's not good enough. You want more. You win one gold medal, feels great in the moment. Now what? The moment you come to terms that it's never going to be enough, and that could be in business, it could be from a physical side of life, and you come to terms with that and think, there's always a % on the table that you're going to chase. And if you're content with that and you can get on board with that, you're going to keep chasing it. But you've got to be conscious that, I know I'm in this sticking point now, but I'm chasing something. It comes back to what Gary said about the purpose, about go again. We go again, we reset, we reflect, chill out, we retest, we reevaluate, and we fucking drive again until we win the next level.
Yeah. You see, there's no end to that game.
No. Never.
There's
what do we call it, lad?
It's the infinite game, isn't it? It's the infinite
game. Exactly, yeah.
Do you really think, I listened to a podcast this morning, do you really think that playing that infinite game is real self-fulfillment? Can you be happy? Because if we're always chasing the next thing, do you not feel like at some point we're never going to be happy? Do you understand?
So, yes, you can. Because those who win and continuously win, one of the biggest factors and reason why they win is that they're happy in that moment. The chase is their happiness. There was a metric done on a tennis for tennis years and years ago, and they basically judged someone on work ethic out of 10, their ability to play tennis out of 10, and happiness to come to training out of 10. Steffi Graf scored 10, 10, 10. How the fuck do you beat someone who's happy to go into training every single day, where some people were so happy but shite at tennis, or really good at tennis but hated to train, never made it? Steffi Graf went to be on to one of the greatest tennis players ever. You cannot beat someone who's happy to be in the locker.
We see all the time the process, like we're massively like ingrained just the never mind the goal, we always have goals, we've always got it. The process of what we do day to day is massive for us. What have you been doing recently to feel like you're fucking still in the mix again at the moment?
Wow, what's wrong with me, Dan?
We'll get on to that in a bit, guys, actually. We'll get on to that.
Yeah.
Show up.
Yeah, not even that. Going for a walk in the rain because the weather's shit. Just to get back in the groove again and feeling like that again. Enjoying. There's no outcome there other than I want to be in the mood for it again. You know
what about those that don't know what they want? What about those that don't know that their purpose? Like you said, there, someone's happy, smashing themselves in the locker, playing tennis. They're happy and they're winning. What if people? Cause I'm now thinking about our kids, right? I'm thinking about Freya. I'm thinking about our girls. You know what I mean? And the kids. It's like, when they get to a certain age, what if they don't know what they want out of life? Where do we start with the people that are listening? Because you two are very, very high performers. You two have been in an environment that nobody could even comprehend. And everybody wanted to be there and perform at that high level. What about the people that have never experienced that don't know what they want to do, that really struggle, and they look at us and they look at you two and go, because they might be listening going, fucking hell, I'm never like that, I can't be like that. How do we help those people out find...
I'll go from mine, mate. So, like I was saying then before, so he jokes about having a breakdown. I wasn't far off, I don't reckon. Midlife crisis at fucking 30. But I am... when I left the military, I was the fastest Ironman in the military, fastest runner in the military. I had all these accolades and I was chasing greatness each time. Left the military. And, yeah, when I had that boom, what's going on? Originally, when I left the military, so I left from, I was an exercise rehabilitation instructor, one of the like leads at Headley Court, so pinnacle of that. And I went, I'm done with fitness. I don't need it. Like, I'm going to stop. So I don't know why. Stop dead on like Ironman, running, biking, that kind of stuff. And then went, I'm going to go work in the financial sector. And someone was like, mate, you can't do that. I think you might have done it. You can't do that, Gaz. So I was like, fucking
you
can
told
do
me
that.
not to do it.
Yeah, I told him. So I'm great. I'm great at giving advice, not good at
So we was both going to do the same shit. I went and did like a project management course. I was at the peak of. So Gary went down the rehab sector, and he was the peak of that. I was the peak of changing loads of the programs in the military. I was credited with revolutionising training in the British Army. And I was like, I'm going to go into project management, Gaz. He went, you're fucking not.
Yeah, no.
What are you doing? And then he went and cracked on with it, and I was like...
So I went into Barclays, and fuck me, like, the minute I got in there, I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? Yeah, what's going on here? And then I went into a bit of a cycle for 2 years, mate. Like you was saying there, of just what works, what doesn't work. And I was looking around, I was looking at Chad, smashing everything, doing coaching-wise, and I'm like, fuck me, where am I going with my life? What's going on? So, like, you might have people who are watching this going, my training was getting back to be that because I was doing CrossFit and stuff. I wasn't didn't feel as I had as much purpose when I was doing Ironman and all that kind of stuff. But I was sat there, so I went, like, I'm quite open about it anyway. But I went and seen a therapist, had a chat to her, and like seen her for like 7-8 months just to kind of rationalise things in my head, because I was like, this is what I used to do. And obviously sat down with a therapist, tell her like, this is where I came from, this is what I did, and she was like, what the fuck's going on here? No wonder you come in at 30 years old and you fucking on the deck here. But I was
just wrote down the notepad, you stupid twat.
yeah. Literally, mate. So I seen her, and then once I started like understanding my feelings, and I think that's hard for a man. Like, I do genuinely. I think we're all. I couldn't tell you last time I cried. Like, genuinely. Like, I think.
Do you feel that's due to being in the military, though?
Yeah. So like, I'm gonna get punched.
Kind of ingrained.
No, I just think that's a bloke thing. I genuinely. That's just a bloke thing.
It is a bloke thing. My mum would. I didn't take a day off school. My mum's like a fucking hard. Like, you are going to school, and she used to say, if I was ill, she'd go to school for the morning. I'll pick you up in the afternoon if you need it off. No one's like picked up in the fucking afternoon, are they? Yeah. So like, that was always me. So I couldn't tell you last time I cried. So I went and seen a therapist and was chatting to her through. And I was like, do you know what? I need to figure out that it's that purpose. Like, what makes me happy is helping people and working with like-minded people and being around like-minded people. How can I do that as a job? And at the time, I'd gone for a couple of jobs, and I'd done pretty well in a business sense in little start-up companies. And I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to have to take a cut here. Like, amazing chasing money and all that, but actually, I can chase money for the rest of my life and not have a purpose, or I can drop my fucking wage down and I can go, I'm going to make a difference in this world and do something that I enjoy. And I think the UK is very good in this bubble of going, chase the money, get a mortgage, get married, have kids, do this. And all in my head I was thinking, what the fuck's going on? I'm 30 years old, I ain't got a kid, I ain't got a mortgage, I ain't got this, I ain't got that. And I'm like, this is a pressure, especially for a man, it's a pressure of going, I need to fulfill what my dad and my mum are doing and what, you know, all this kind of stuff. So I was like, right, fine, I'm going to take a hit. So when I rang Chad and I was like, mate, I'm setting up my own company, can I come in and do rehab for the Redon group?
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, sound, let's try it. And honestly, as I started doing that and I was like, I fucking love this. This is something I'm passionate about. I'm not earning the same money as I was before in a business sense, but actually, my purpose has gone up tenfold. So that weight between it, and I think a lot of people hang so much value on, I need to earn this amount of money so that I can buy, you know, this hoodie or whatever it might be, or do whatever I want to do and go on holiday. Like, mate, we work the vast majority of our days. If you ain't happy in your job, you have to at some point come to realisation of going, what do I like to do and how can I do it? And if that means taking a salary drop and doing something that you've found a purpose with, that worked for me, and that's all I can say on that.
It's you've mentioned it again there. It's the process, isn't it? So I wrote a book, and Redon Revolution, Redon from what I mentioned before, Revolution from what I was credited before, and it's the starting chapter's called Find Your Why, and it's dead important that you have to have that purpose. That why is so to start any journey. Doesn't matter who they are, as you mentioned before, it could be anybody. The moment you figure out what you want to do personally, you have a strong why behind it, you'll do anything to go and achieve that. As long as you ingrain yourself around, you're a product of a community. If you ingrain yourself around the right people, you'll run through walls to go and do it. So it starts with why.
How do you guys stop yourselves from comparing yourselves to others? I know there's a lot of people listening that compare themselves. I have been guilty, especially with business, when we're scaling businesses and we go, have you seen that? Have you seen that? Listen, we need to sort this out, boys.
How many times we do it through Instagram and things like that?
That's what I mean. How do you guys, should we do this? Should we do that? How do you guys stop yourselves from getting distracted with the noise and comparing yourself to others? How do you manage that?
I think I did very well from a coaching perspective for doing that. One, I couldn't give a fuck what everyone else is doing. This is my why, and I'm running down here. Lo and behold, in my head, I think everyone's going to chase me. Everyone's going to want to do what I do, because watch this. What I did is when I went into the coaching side of life, when I left, I realised very quickly that no one gives a fuck what I can lift and how fast I can run with kit anymore. I almost gave up that athletic ability. I gave up everything I do from an athletic point of view. I've told what I did before. I've been at the pinnacle for fitness in the military. No one cared. People care from a coaching perspective about what you can do for them. And I realised that very early. People on Instagram and social media get confused with this. PTs get so confused in the fact that they showcase what they can do all the time. And it's great, and it's like, and it looks really good. No one wants to see me, I don't know, put 120 above my head. You want to see someone do that. Go and watch someone put 200 above their head. Of course. Go and watch someone pull 300 off the ground. No one wants to see me pull 200 off the ground. Like, there's bigger people out there. However, if you want to coach, I'm your man. So that's why I made a very conscious decision very early that, again, the secret athlete, I'll train in silence. No one needs to see that on social media. They really care about what I can do, and my business went through the roof because of that.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to, like, if you think you're doing your best, like, no one's got it all together, have they? No one has. Like, as long as you think you're doing your best, just fucking do it.
No one actually has a clue.
Never.
Everyone's figured it out along the way, and as soon as I seen that...
That's why I was so successful in the military, because I realised that this organisation has no idea what's going on.
Well, that's life,
and I used to manipulate everyone by I would say something and make everyone believe this was happening, and it would. And I'm just this sergeant, one of the lowest denominators in the military, making things tick.
But if you confront it and back it...
Exactly. So you're going to say something, be willing to back it up. If you walk into a room confident as fuck and say something, people go, oh, okay, 100%, that's exactly what's wrong. Could be the same mindset. But you say it with conviction.
That was the same mindset you instilled in all soldiers anyway. Is that ability to go, fucking let's go. That's the point.
I know there's definitely, again, a lot of people listening that do compare, that really do. Are we now saying that
it's natural?
It is natural. I think, and you know what, we talk about it all the time, because I feel like that me and Dan especially, we've got a very healthy relationship with competitiveness and willing to look up at people and have respect for what they've
Call it
done.
more of like an aspiration, don't we? It's like, that's a cool race, that. Let's fucking have a go at that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It's
or
not
people
like,
doing really well in business, people that are doing really well in business, it's like, wow, they've got some great skills, we should, you know, try and figure out what them skills are and let's get ourselves better. But most people don't have that. Most people would look at them and go, oh, well, and they try and put them down a bit, oh, well. How do we stop that? Is it finding what you enjoy the most? Is it finding something that you want to convict yourself to and be like, right, I'm just going to follow this. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I enjoy. I'm going to focus all my time on that.
100%. I think focus on yourself. Like, there's too many people who spend too much energy going, oh, Dan's created this. Looks shit, doesn't it? Like, it's a throwaway comment. Who gives a fuck?
Anything you can do to bag it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, as long as I'm happy with myself. Like, I'd like to think I'm like quite a positive guy, and I just. If you haven't got something nice to say, that's what I've been brought up. If you haven't got something nice to say about someone, don't say it.
Yeah,
Why are you saying it? Like, no one. A throwaway comment like, fucking hell, Dan's running the HPC. Yeah, it looks a bit shit, that. Like, nice one.
It's so
who cares?
Yeah,
Like,
We see it all the time.
It's fucking ridiculous, mate. And that's all it is.